Here we go. It has been officially 1 year since I uploaded my first tutorial here on YouTube, which is crazy. So I figured it'd be fun to do something a little bit different today and answer your questions. So I'm going to be answering your questions that I asked over on the Photoboss Facebook group. And I have a list of questions here. Some of them are personal, some of them are business related and photography related, and I just think it's gonna be a fun get to know me type of video. Let's do this. Yolanda asked, what is your spirit animal and how does that relate to being a photographer? This is such an interesting question. I'm not sure what my spirit animal is. I want to say Leslie Knope, but I don't think that's an answer. My husband says if I was gonna be an animal, I would be a deer. I don't really know why. I think it's the coloring. It would need to be an animal that sleeps a lot, drinks bubble tea, and likes to create art. Maybe you guys need to tell me, what is my spirit animal? I don't know. What is one of your current obsessions? I'm legitimately obsessed with bubble tea right now. I think I spent, we're not even gonna talk about it. Let's just say I went to get bubble tea every day for a week, and I got all of my friends really into bubble tea, and now I'm cold turkey off bubble tea because it's too expensive. So if somebody knows how to make bubble tea at home, that would change the game. Jen asked, were you always planning on being a photographer? What was your path like to become a wedding photographer? This is a really good question. I was not always planning on becoming a photographer. I didn't really know what I wanted to be for sure. I was one of those kids in high school that everybody would ask what I wanted to be and I didn't really know. And I took lots of those aptitude tests and tried to figure out what I would be good at. And I scored super highly in advertising, arts, leadership roles, and psychology. And I looked into a track to pursue psychology and I just wasn't a fan of everything that went into it, honestly. So I started leaning a little more towards the artsy side of things. I do have some old journals or scraps of paper where I was really into photography and I wanted to own my own studio, but it wasn't something I pursued as I was getting older and closer to college. And then when I went to school and university, I actually majored in graphic design. So at first I thought maybe I would do illustration, and for a short stint I was interested in doing children's books, illustrating children's books and drawing and stuff like that. And I was always in the artsy field, but photography was definitely not on my radar until about my sophomore, junior year of college. And that is when I got engaged and hired my wedding photographer and kind of was introduced to this whole world of wedding photography, and not just wedding photography, but the business of it, that people did it full time and lived off of it. And it was a big moment for me because I, before that moment, didn't realize that you could do that for a living. I kind of thought if you were gonna be a professional photographer, you had to work for a studio or work for National Geographic or something I don't know. I had never thought about it really. So that's what sparked my interest in photography, and the rest is literally just it's history. I immediately shifted in my graphic design degree. I would be in a graphic design class doing research and reading blogs about photography. So I had completely checked out of graphic design, and I finished that degree and I use it all the time on my website, in my personal branding, in my albums. So it's fantastic to know, but I didn't pursue graphic design in a professional sense. I immediately shifted into wedding photography. Alda asked, why did you decide to work from home and how do you keep business and personal realities separated? I decided to work from home because I didn't like working in an office. I did not like keeping regular business hours, so driving to work during rush hour, dealing with assignments and things that I just didn't feel emotionally attached to. I wasn't feeling fulfilled in my work, and I knew I wanted to work for myself. And so by very nature of working for yourself, that oftentimes means working from home. So For me personally, that seemed like the dream, to work from home. Like, this is my ideal life. It's not for everyone to work from home because you're alone like all the time, but I absolutely love it, and I love creating my own schedule. So that's what made me want to work from home, just like the freedom of it and the autonomy to just kind of do what I wanted when I wanted was just so desirable to me. So that's why I decided to work for myself and work from home. Now you ask, how do I keep my business and personal realities separated? I think that the pursuit of balance and separation between business and personal is sort of the wrong question. You can't separate them fully because I am my business. It's hard to answer because you can't really separate them fully. I work from home, which means like I am in my personal space doing business. So I think that you can have boundaries. I think there are plenty of ways that you can create healthy boundaries with your clients, with your work hours, and with like your family and your business. But at the end of the day, I don't try to keep those two things completely separate because it's a little bit of an impossible task, because I work nights and weekends. I photograph weddings, I photograph portrait sessions and couples and anniversaries, and I mentor other photographers. So I do my best to make sure that I'm giving the best of myself to my family, to my friends, that they still get to see me, but I'm not gonna try to pretend that I'm able to 100% keep them separate, because when you work for yourself and you have your own business, they mesh together, and balance is kind of it's a seesaw. It's a work in progress. You'll never reach perfect balance. That sometimes the business is gonna get way more of my attention, and that's okay. Sometimes my personal life is gonna get all of my attention, and that's okay. I don't think there's such a thing as a perfect balance, like if you're on a seesaw, but I think the point is that you're seeking like good relationships and you're communicating with your spouse or your significant other about it. So I think that's a hard one to answer. Ashley asked, do you and have you traveled to an exotic location to shoot a wedding? If so, where was it? If you haven't, what is one place you would like to travel to shoot a wedding? I haven't really. I work mostly in the DC, Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, Pennsylvania, that kind of area. So nowhere super, super far. Sometimes I have to travel a few hours, get a hotel, that kind of thing. So I haven't really done a lot of destination work. If I was going to, I would say my bucket list would be maybe Cartagena, Colombia. I would love to photograph a wedding in Scotland or Italy. Honestly, I'm up for wherever, but I guess Europe is at the top of my list. Naomi asked, do you listen to music while editing? If so, what kind? And this is a funny question because I go back and forth between either listening to music or watching a Netflix show, or kind of listening to a Netflix show, or not listening or watching anything at all. So sometimes I just need to like focus on what's happening. If I'm writing, if I'm reading, I can't listen to music a lot of times, especially if it has lyrics. I'm just super weird about it. So a lot of times I'm working in complete silence, and then other times I'm listening to reruns of like Friends or The Office or something like that. I don't need to watch, like I can just edit and listen, and it entertains me kind of like a book on tape. So yeah, like half the time I'm listening to music. If I am listening to music right now, I'm listening to Christmas music. But other than that, I listen to a lot of like Frank Sinatra, Michael Bublé, and John Foreman. Angel asked, what is one lesson you wish you knew before you had to learn the hard way? Oh my gosh, okay. I would say one lesson that I learned this year through this YouTube channel was to start things, simply start, and stop thinking so much. And I definitely learned that the hard way because I did not start this YouTube channel until a year after I wanted to. Like I originally started thinking about starting this YouTube channel and just stopped there. I was in this like thinking phase for like a year, and I lost a year. I mean, when I think about what my channel and my life could look like if I had 2 years of YouTube under my belt, it kind of sucks. Like, I guess it's just a lesson of like procrastination and fear, and really just not being somebody that talks about things and rather someone that does things. So if you're on the fence about something, if you're thinking about something, or you're talking about starting something, stop and just do it. Just do it, because in a year, you'll be so glad you started. What is your favorite candle scent? Either vanilla, that's what I have burning back here right now, or Leaves by Bath & Body Works. How many countries have you been to? Oh my gosh, okay, let's see. US.
Colombia, Mexico, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Scotland, France, England, Iceland.
At least 10. Have you read any of the Harry Potter, Hunger Games, or Twilight series? No to all 3. Would you rather have an American accent or British accent? British, obviously. How many siblings do you have? I have 4 siblings. I have 3 brothers and 1 sister. I'm the middle child of 5. In fact, you can actually check out my little brother's YouTube channel. He's here on YouTube, and he's a big reason as to why I even have a YouTube channel. He's the one who really encouraged me to start on YouTube. So I'll link his channel below. But yeah, 4 siblings. Why did you start a YouTube channel? Okay, so I started a YouTube channel because I wanted to teach, and I wanted to reach more people and impact the photography industry for the better, and really help people that worked for themselves do better at working for themselves. I also started because my little brother is a YouTuber here, and he was telling me that I should, and that I would do really well at it, and he told me YouTube was gonna be like the coolest thing I ever did, and that I was gonna meet so many amazing people, and that the community was just crazy. And he originally told me and encouraged me to start a YouTube channel. So between wanting to teach and connect with more photographers and my brother's encouragement, that's sort of how this all began. All right, what was the last book that you read? I think I actually have it here somewhere. Yes? No? Vlog Like a Boss by Amy Schmittauer. Incredible, read it cover to cover, which is rare. It's kind of hard to finish books sometimes, for me at least. And I thought it was amazing. It's pretty much about YouTube and growing your business or your brand with video. And I thought it was pretty incredible. So if you are a business owner or you want to increase your brand awareness, I highly recommend this book. It was incredible. I know she also has it on audiobook, and I'm probably going to get that and re-listen to it because it was that good. What book are you currently reading? I'm reading Content Inc. I can't think of the author off the top of my head right now, but Content Inc. How did you book your first wedding? This is an amazing question. This is like one of those like chicken and the egg things. Like when you're a photographer, you want to book weddings, but you don't have weddings. Like how do you book them? So the first official wedding I ever booked, it was a friend from college, and she had seen that I was like getting into photography. I had put up a website and a Facebook page, and I put up a lot of really mediocre work. And I was doing styled shoots, and I was second shooting for another photographer, and just putting it out there that I wanted to do weddings. And she inquired, and that's how she became my very first client. And that was 2014, I believe. I think so. What is your favorite social media network and why? Gosh, it's so hard. I would say it's probably a tie between YouTube and Instagram. No, it's not a tie, YouTube. YouTube is literally my favorite thing in the world right now, only because the algorithm on Instagram is just the worst, but stories are really fun. I'm on stories a lot. I like that you can tag people and people can send you messages, and I just think it's a really fun way to update. So if you're not following me, go follow me, Instagram. I also like Snapchat because it's like the dressed down version of Instagram. So it's all good. But I think YouTube is probably like, I don't know if it's a social media platform. I don't even know if it counts, but I love it. I think that the interactiveness and the community here is like unreal. Do you use ETTL or manual? I am assuming you mean in Flash, and I use both. It depends. When I'm using off-camera Flash, I do everything manual. Sandra asks, what part of your business do you outsource? I'm thinking of outsourcing the album design process to give myself more time for other things. Right now, I used to outsource editing and it was taking too long from the editor that I had chosen just for me to call everything, get it to them to get it back, and it often wasn't right. So I'm actually back to not outsourcing that. Okay, things that I outsource in my business. I outsource my taxes, accounting, bookkeeping, client gifting. I send a company, takes care of that for me. That's really all I outsource right now. I'm looking for a new editing company that will have a really quick turnaround time, just because I can't sit on the images and make my clients wait like weeks and weeks and weeks and then have it come back and it not look quite right. So right now I'm in that like awkward phase where I know exactly what I want and I'm really picky. So I need a company that can like be up to the challenge. Next question, how long have you been in business? I have been in business officially since like 2013. I say like because there's this like awkward point where you say you're in business, but you don't actually have business. So things really started rolling in 2014 and 2015. So like 2014, I had my own clients. 2015, I had like 20 or so of my own clients. So like things really escalated, but officially Joy Michelle Photography came to be a thing in 2013. Will you ever do a hands-on workshop live? Yes, I hope so. That's one of my 2018 goals, is to host a super small kind of mastermind type event where we would have a styled shoot and talk about business and branding and bring in experts, and it would be a multi-day event. That's my goal for 2018, so we'll see. Get on the mailing list, make sure that you're a part of the Facebook group Photoboss, and you'll be the first to hear when my workshops become live. How long in advance before a wedding do you create the timeline? I don't really create the timeline. My couple creates it and sends it to me, and I tweak it or provide feedback. So I do this around 6 weeks out from the wedding. I send them a full-fledged questionnaire about everything that I need to know about their wedding day, and that I also request the timeline at that point. So if they don't have a timeline, I refer them to a planner or a day of coordinator, someone that can help craft a timeline. Then from there, when they send it to me, I can let them know, we need, a little more time for portraits. Don't forget to let me into the reception room before your guests are allowed in. I wanna make sure I get those pictures. I can give them that feedback and give them tweaks. What kind of website do you have? I have a WordPress website. So I used to be on Show It, and I moved to WordPress, and I'm kind of up in the air now, like if I wanna move back to Show It. I feel like no platform is perfect, no host is perfect. I am not like super technically savvy. How tall are you? I am 5'5", I think. How old are you? I am 26. How did you and Felipe meet? We met in high school. Well, like we didn't go to the same high school. I was actually homeschooled. But he went to a real high school, and we met through like a youth group, like a church group, and I was friends of some of his friends. We had friends in common, and I went to like a Wednesday night youth group event, and he was there, and they were sending off one of their pastors or giving someone like a goodbye party or something, and there was cake, and he tripped, which is funny because he trips a lot now that I know him more, and he dropped some cake on my shin, and that's how we met. He dropped cake on me. What country do you plan on visiting next? I am hoping to be in Greece next. What is one of your 5-year or 10-year life and business goals? This is such a good question and super hard to answer. I think in business and in photography, I see education and connecting with you a huge part of my 5-year plan. I hope to have more in-person workshops, a few online courses that can be accessible from around the world and at an affordable price point, and maybe a book. We'll see. Personally, I hope to be able to have traveled more. I don't know, that's so hard. Where do I see myself in 10 years? I just want to travel to all the places and photograph all the people and honestly meet you all. If you have more questions or you want maybe like another part 2 of this in another video series, go ahead, just throw your questions in the comment section and I'll keep making these videos.